Today I'm being joined by Susan McGee. She is the president of Lawn Doctor Wilmington in Brunswick County in North Carolina. Susan, welcome. Thanks for taking the time to chat with me today.
Thank you so much.
So first, just tell me about yourself. How did you, who are you and how did you get to the industry?
You know, I moved to Wilmington prior to being with Lawn Doctor, and certainly as my young family was growing, it became apparent that it would be beneficial to have a business. As my ex-husband and I were looking for business opportunities, we had called Lawn Doctor. They didn't have a franchise nearby that seemed very viable. And we were aware who Lawn Doctor was because a neighbor of ours was a Lawn Doctor franchisee. In fact, they did our yard. And so about 12 months passed, and I'm fixing lunch one day, and I got a call from the Lawn Doctor sales rep. And he says, have you found a business yet? And I said, no business opportunity that we were definitely excited about. And he told me that the Lawn Doctor franchise in Wilmington was going to be on the market for sale. So we went to work immediately putting together a presentation for the seller, who was a neighbor of mine, as I said. And literally several months later, there we are being in the Lawn Doctor franchise organization.
Okay, great. How long ago was that?
That was 23 years ago. It's hard to believe.
Has it gone by fast?
You know, it really has. Though some years, sort of like raising children, some years go, you know, the days go slow and the years go fast, and COVID years go very slow. But for the most part, they've gone very fast. I've just developed so many friends through our customer base. I know them both mainly by voice on the phone because I've been the voice in the office and not out on the yards all the time. But it is amazing how many people that have become friends in that way.
That's great. That's great. Did you get any advice, either professional or personal, through the years that stuck with you that you still abide by in either in your business or in your day-to-day life that you can tell me?
You know, I thought about that a little bit after our initial conversation. And yes, one of the things, and probably will come into play later this year, the only two challenges in owning your own business are employees and customers. And employees are challenges day to day. The new workforce is a challenge. Customers have expectations you hope that will be the same expectations you have. But to build a business, you just really have to be able to manage both. Okay,
great. Is there any day at work that really stands out in your mind, hopefully for a good reason? Anything that was really memorable from your career?
You know, I think back to one day in particular, and I've mentioned it to several of my office staff for a reason. And I can remember back to when the business was much smaller and I was the only staff person in the office. And the Monday after Easter, I came into the office and there were a number of phone calls on the answer machine. And I thought, wow, this is going to be a busy day. But in that one day, as I had hundreds of phone calls, and I couldn't plow through one message before I got the next message and the next message, and I couldn't respond to everybody as quickly as I wanted to. It was just a sign that, number one, we're doing a lot of things right, but number two, that I needed additional help and the right kind of help to be able to handle the volume of the way things were going.
Okay, good. That's a good feeling and a stressful feeling at the same time, I'm sure.
All at the same time, for sure.
Okay. How about giving me a prediction? What do you think I'm going to be writing about this time next year or in 5 years? What do you think is going to be a reoccurring theme that you can be sure that landscape management will still be harping on or writing about for years to come?
You know, I think probably one of the biggest surprises for me as an owner, aside from the day-to-day balance with a workforce in the field or an office staff, is the ongoing challenge of human resources, whether it's labor supply or whether it's opportunity for advancement, but certainly in the field of human resources, knowing the expectation of what the human resource side of this business is and taking care of the people that you have on site, either with current policy, handbooks, and things that 23 years ago were not issues in my position then, certainly take a lot of time today that doesn't feel like necessarily productivity time. But it's important time for all the staff. And I think human resources is just going to become a bigger thing as far as, and when you go through a COVID year with all the requirements for human resources, and the ways that you manage your staff last year, I don't think that's going to slow down.
Yeah. Oh, it's everyone's experiencing the same thing with how much has changed in such little time, and people's personalities really come out when you're exposed to the stress and things like that. It's interesting. I think you're right. There's going to be a lot of people tested on this.
I was reading an article from a source this week about the residual stress after the COVID year that is still plaguing people. And, you know, when you're on site and you don't realize what everybody's lives are, and we're not supposed to know what everybody's personal life is, but it's such a reflection during your day-to-day life at work, that the residual stress that everybody's facing at home does come into play during the workday.
For sure. Can you give me an idea of how big your company is, and in any terms you'd like to, in terms of people, revenue, whatever? How big are you guys? What's a good way to?
I have 20 employees, and I'll probably be doing 1.7 or so this year.
Okay.
So I'm in a growth mode, and we're very fortunate to have people that have been long-term customers, some for 23 years, believe it or not, which is a great thing. But as the community grows, we certainly have had our opportunities. So I'm real pleased with my staff for the growth that we've had.
Okay. Susan, you've been so good to me. I got one more question for you, and then I'll let you off the hook. But what's your favorite thing about your job? What brings you to work every day?
You know, I truly care about the people that work with me, and that some of the people that work with me, this is their opportunity as much as it is mine to create a good opportunity long range for them, a career. And my customers, I cannot say enough about the kinds of customers I have that that really appreciate the value that we bring every day to their yards. And it's the science of what we do. I had somebody ask me one day, oh, anybody can spray yards. Why is it, you know, that should be easy to hire. I said, you know, not everybody can spray a yard or push fertilizer. I said, there's science involved. And I already make sure all of my technicians and even my office staff this year is getting their pesticide licenses so that they have an opportunity for personal growth. And certainly it gives them the opportunity to feel like they've also got a stake in the company.
Fantastic. Okay, great answer. Susan, thank you so much. I really appreciate you doing this interview for me.
Listen, thank you so much, Seth. Appreciate you taking the time with me.
Everybody, this is Susan McGee. She is the president of Lawn Doctor Wilmington in Brunswick County, North Carolina. I'm Seth Jones with Landscape Management Magazine. Thanks for watching us here on LM's At Home Edition.